StockMyTrader.com, doing a video recap of ticker symbol CBI. It was a trade that the community took this week. I believe we got into this trade, I want to say around Tuesday or Wednesday. At any rate, I knew it wasn't a trade we were going to stay in for a long time. It's one of these momentum stocks. And I knew we were either going to get stopped out immediately or we were going to hit our target immediately. If you go to shortmetina.com, you'll see that we typically strive, or we have a 3 to 9 risk reward ratio for the most part for every stock that we put on, meaning that we, for the most part, always risk 3%, and our aim, or at least our initial aim, is to gain 9%. If you've been listening to me, if you've been reading my blogs, you know I'm an advocate of buying and holding good quality stocks, or stocks that are showing you a profit, right? You want to shave off some to sort of satisfy those immediate urges for gratification that we tend to have. But if you want like to capture like the real meat of the move, or if you want to see like those substantial or sizable gains or returns, you have to hold on to your winners. CBI, we played it as a speculative stock. I don't know too much about the company. I definitely am a technical trader, and we played this particular stock, one, because the stock was doing this. So if you look at the 5-minute chart for the past 10 days, you know, stock was basing a little here, it dipped, it started trending up, and then we had like this huge power move, right? So once again, if you go to shortmetina.com, you read my blogs, you'll realize that I am definitely an advocate of being disciplined, being patient, stalking your trades, waiting for your ideal entries, having a plan for every trade, and I'm definitely against chasing stocks, right? There's something like thousands of stocks on any exchange, right? Or the exchanges in combination. There's no need to chase any one stock. I say all that to say there's going to be another trade around the corner if you don't get your ideal entry for a particular stock. So the folks that bought up here obviously were chasing, right? So any stock that makes such a power move, not all the time, I would say a vast majority of the time, you're going to get that subsequent pullback. And that's where I usually get into a trade like this. And this is actually where we got into the trade, right? So waited for the pullback and decided to get in the trade. And it still is proven to be a decent level of support. I believe the alert went out and the buy zone was something like 1970 to 2030. Now, there were folks who probably got in at 2030, and that's perfectly fine because it was within, you know, the buy zone. But for individuals who don't chase stock and they wait for that ideal entry, right, you'd be waiting for it to get to 1970. And if you waited, I mean, no matter which way you got in, if you got in at 1970, if you got in at 2030, you still made a profit. But folks that got in at 1970 allowed themselves a little bit more cushion than the folks that got in at 2030. At any rate, like I said, I knew we were either going to be stopped out of the trade or hit our target relatively quickly. So we got in the trade, I want to say, on Tuesday or Wednesday, and within the next day, I think we only had held the stock for about a day. Within the next day, we hit our target when the stock went as high as, I believe it was 22.13, 22.14, around here. And in and in Friday's pre-market action, if you had still held on to your stock and you didn't shave off any at 22.13 or 22.14 into that strength, into the high, pre-market action, let me pause for a second so I can get that pre-market action for you. All right, I'm back, and I'm going to pull pre-market trading activity into this screen, and look here. It went as high as 22.65. So if you were someone that got in at around 1970, right, within that range or the lower end of my buy zone range, you're up almost, or you were up in pre-market 3 points or something like, I don't know, 15% on your trade in just one day. So more or less, that's our CBI trade in a nutshell. So for folks wondering, being that it's at 1972, right within the lower end of my buy zone, if the stock is still a buy, honestly, I'd have to look at trading activity on Monday. I want to say it's rather curious that the stock actually stopped right below support. So support, you can see it clearly here. Let me zoom in a little bit more to the 3 days so you can see it's very apparent. Well, it's apparent to me. So I'm going to draw the line again. And this is how you know that it's support, right? Stock had a little hard time. Again, we're on the 5-minute. Stock had a hard time penetrating that support line, but it finally did, gapped up, pulled back, breached it a little, popped up right here. We're sitting on the line. We're sitting on the line. Even when we went up, we testing that line again. We tested and so we basically tested that line all day Friday, and then we eventually broke, right? So the fact that it broke that line, obviously that's not a bullish indicator. It's bearish because it's breaking support. But the fact that it's still sort of hanging around there, right, means that, all is not lost. So for CBI, if you're looking to get into this trade, I think it is, from a risk-reward perspective, there's a couple of things that you should consider, and I'm not going to go through it all right now. If you want my opinion, go to shortmetina.com, sign up, become a member, send me an email. I'll give you a thorough explanation. But for now, what I would want to see this stock do on Monday, obviously with volume, is to penetrate. Not on light volume. It has to be strong volume. If not, the momentum it's done. It's gone. And that's what we kind of need for this stock. If not, you're going to find yourself in a couple of days where the stock just crashes right back down to the levels it was trading at before, right? So on Monday, if you want to get into the stock from a risk-reward perspective, if we're just looking at risk-reward, there's other factors to look at, but if we're just looking at risk-reward, it's sitting right below support, which is not necessarily bad. You want to ensure that it definitely gets above this line, meaning it needs to get above 20, remain there, consolidate on at least, not necessarily above, but at least on average volume, okay? Not on low volume, average volume. So that's our CBI trade in a nutshell. We got in somewhere around here, 1970 to 2030, and then we started unloading around 22. What else did I want to go through with you guys here? Hold for a second. Yeah, I actually wanted to talk about the SPY, right? Because, once again, if you go to my website, shortmetina.com, where you read my blogs, you'll know that I preach a couple of things. One of the things that I preach is you have to know what the broader markets are doing, because that's going to dictate for you the direction of your stock, or the direction you should take in your tradings. So I say, for the most part, and I don't always follow this rule 100%, I try to at least 99.9% of the time, but in a bull market, which for the most part we still are, and I definitely want to do a video, and it's going to be a separate video because this one is getting a little bit long. I'm going to do a separate video. You can look out for that. I'll do it in a couple of minutes on the SPY and the levels that I'm looking at. So for the most part, I still think we remain in a bull market, and I'll go through that in another video. So that's it again for CBI. The community took the trade. Wow, look at that candle. Amazing, right? Amazing. Anyway, so community took the trade around 1970. We unloaded around 22, low to mid 22s, and now the stock is pulling back. So going into Monday, if you want to get into this trade, not to sound redundant and repetitive, but wanting to drive home the point, the stock, ideally it needs to get above 20. If it can consolidate around here, that's fine too, but it needs to penetrate 20 with volume. So this is Short Me Tina from shortmetina.com. Thanks for listening to the video. We actually had a very phenomenal second quarter. Just go to my website, shortmetina.com. I have some videos explaining some of our notable winners. What are they? What did we get in for the second quarter? We got into a lot. Like I'm telling you, we nailed it. We hit it out the park in the second quarter. We got into CAT. Stock is trading at 107.46. We actually got into this trade around 90. So that's what? Almost 20 points or $20 per share. Well, $17 per share that you had. We also got into Microsoft this quarter. Stock is trading at 68.93 right now. We ended up getting into this stock a while back at 64. Stock went as high as 72, representing almost 10 points from our initial entry point. We also got into Lululemon, ticker symbol LULU. We actually played this gap down, got in somewhere around the low 49. Stock is currently trading at 59. That's 10 points or $10 per share for every share that you had. What else did we get into? The stock is a beast. You can see it trending up. We got into this stock, and this was we got into this stock a while back. I want to say sometime in March when it was consolidating here. We got into this trade. Yum Brands, the maker of, or the brains, I guess, behind brands such as Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut. We got into this trade around, I want to say 63. Stock currently trading at 73, one as high as 75, representing something like 12 points. What else did we get into? We got into Penn National Gaming, ticker symbol PENN. We got into this stock when it was consolidating here before this move up. We got into this stock around, I want to say low 17, low 18s. Stock went as high as 22. What else did we get into? Another runner. We got into AMD. I mean, this stock can definitely give you a heart attack. We played this gap down here. We got into this stock around, I want to say, the high 9s, low 10s. Most recently, stock saw a high of 14. What else did we get into? We got into, for this quarter, we got into Baidu, ticker symbol BIDU. Another up and down stock. Sitting at 178, we actually got into this stock, I want to say in the low 160s. Stock went as high, or rather the mid 160s. I want to say 164, 166, something like that. Stock went as high as 190, representing like 30 points or $30 for every share that you owned. What else did we get into for the quarter? God, it's so many winners. We got into UAA, Under Armour. We got into this stock, I want to say somewhere around 19. Stock saw a recent high of about 23. Another powerful winner on our team. What else did we get into this quarter? We got into UAL. Stock is pulled back some. It's pulled back a lot, but we actually got into this stock somewhere, I want to say with the gap down. Where was the gap down? No, it was like sometime around, I want to say here. No, we didn't get into it around there. Well, anyway, we got into this stock somewhere around 68. Where did we get into this stock? It wasn't a long hold either. It definitely wasn't a long hold. Yeah, I want to say right here. There you go. With the sell-off, we got into this stock somewhere in April around 68. And like good things, you gotta know how to call them. Gotta know how to hit them. Stock saw a high of like 83. We've pulled back some. Is it still in its bullish trend? Again, go to shortmetina.com, sign up, and give me an email, and I will let you know whether or not I still believe it's a good trade to get into at this levels. We also got into another airline, ALK. Once again, we're really good at catching those bottoms or those reversals, right? We got into this stock somewhere around here. I want to say 82, 83. Rode it all the way up to high of like 93. Stock is pulled back some, but it's still in my opinion a bullish play. Another volatile stock. We played the we didn't get in around the IPO time. We actually waited for them to and I stocked this, and I like to stock my trades. So been following this stock for a while. Actually, that's wrong. We actually did play the IPO in the beginning. It was like a very short-term game. But we waited for the stock to sell off this gap down here after they reported earnings, and we actually bought the bounce, and that proved to be profitable. We got in around 17, 18, rolled it up to 21. Stock is consolidating around 17. I'm actually all out, like completely out of this trade. I want to get back in, not now, waiting for another opportunity. If you want to know what that opportunity is, you know what to do. You can go to shortmetina.com and sign up. So we're doing good things here in our community. And I'm not going to paint an entirely rosy picture. While we had a solid second quarter, and and there's more winners that I'm not even listing right now, we've also had some losers. But once again, we have a 3 to 9% risk reward ratio. We risk 3% to make 9%. And so the stocks that we have stopped out of, like the Twitters, what else did we stop out of? Data. These were actually stocks that we didn't do well in, but we just took the 3% and we moved on. And with those winners that I just spoke about, the really big ones like the CATs that we got in at 90 and it's sitting at 107, like that definitely absorbs or makes up for those small losses. So if you're in this game, you have to be able to take a small loss, but not too many small losses, right? And folks will say, well, as long as it's a small loss, it's fine. I think if you're, really disciplined and you ensure that you get into really good quality trades, right, you're not going to experience those losses or not many losses, right? So that's the name of the game. Go to shortmetina.com, sign up, join our community, and find out what the fuss is all about. Once again, thanks for the support, and as always, thanks for listening.